Off the Timeline, Episode 1. Tarik Skubal, the ace who refused to fade. What if Tarik Skubal never pitched a game for the Detroit Tigers? What if his story wasn't about rebuilding in Motown, but becoming a journeyman ace, a playoff hero, and one of the last old-school pitchers to ever toe a major league mound? This is the alternate career of Tarik Skubal, a man who didn't just beat the odds, he rewrote them. But before that, our disclaimer. Off the Timeline is a fictional and speculative storytelling project. All references to real athletes, teams, leagues, games, or media properties, including but not limited to the NCAA, NFL, MLB, and their affiliates, are used for commentary and transformative entertainment purposes only. This content is protected under fair use for purposes of parody and analysis, education, and for our emphasis, creative fiction. We are not affiliated with, endorsed by, or claiming ownership of any trademarks, logos, or copyrighted content that may be referenced during the show. And now on to the show. Chapter 1, The Draft Twist. In this timeline, the year is 2018. The Oakland A's take a flyer on a lanky lefty from Seattle University, Tarik Skubal, in the 9th round. Detroit never grabs him, and that changes everything. Skubal quickly climbs Oakland's system. By 2020, amid a pandemic-shortened season, he makes his MLB debut, firing high-octane fastballs and battling hitters with violent late-breaking sliders. Meanwhile, the Tigers, acting Skubal's upside, overcorrect. They pour resources into a new-age pitching lab, turning mid-tier arms like Bo Brisky and Tanner Kolib into the cornerstones of a biomechanical revolution. Detroit evolves, and so does Skubal. Chapter 2, Cardinal Red. By 2024, Oakland hits the reset button. Shocker. Skubal, now a proven frontline arm, is traded to the St. Louis Cardinals. In St. Louis, he doesn't just shine, he dominates. He wins 18 games in 2025, anchors a deep playoff, and by 2026, he's a Cy Young Award winner. In this case, it comes a couple years later than real life. ERA under 2.50, over 200 strikeouts, a perfect storm of command, deception, and postseason poise. He becomes the soul of the Cardinals rotation, a quieter version of Wainwright, a modern-day Cliff Lee. And by 2030, he's a folk hero in red and white. But just as Skubal peaks, the landscape changes. Chapter 3, The War on Tradition. Enter Mateo Espinosa, a new age GM for the rival Chicago Cubs. He calls Skubal outdated, a museum piece, and launches Project Disruptor, a bullpen-first pitching model guided by AI pitch sequencing. No aces, no rotations, just data and chaos. Meanwhile, Detroit faces its own ghost, Cade Rountree, a former biomechanic insider turned whistleblower, accuses their system of overtraining and breaking arms. He calls the Tigers reckless, a factory disguised as a franchise. The stage is set, old school versus new, feel versus formula. Chapter 4, The 2031 Showdown. The 2031 postseason becomes the stuff of legend. In the NLCS, Skubal silences Espinosa's Cubs with a relief appearance in Game 7 at age 38. The crowd chants one more year as he walks off the mound. Across the bracket, Detroit defeats the Tigers with Jaxon Prine, a flamethrower born in their pitching lab, throwing 102 miles hour gas and striking out 13 in Game 2. He holds up his elbow after the final out, mocking Rountree's injury claims. World Series, Tigers versus Cardinals. Right at the 25-year anniversary of their real 2006 matchup. Skubal versus Prine. Legacy versus future. Game 1, both go 7 innings, dead even. Game 6, Prine comes out of the bullpen and closes it down. Detroit win its first championship since 1984. Skubal doesn't get his second ring, but he does something far rarer in baseball. He earns respect from every corner of the game. Chapter 5, The Long Goodbye. Skubal announces his retirement after 2032. Then he doesn't follow through. Instead, he signs with the Padres in 2033, reinvents himself with a cutter and deception-heavy arsenal, pitches to a 3.88 ERA as a five-starter. In 2034, he joins the Pirates, venturing rookies surviving on pitch sequencing alone. 2035, he signs a minor league deal with the Royals, becoming a player coach in AAA. And in 2036, the Tigers call him home for one final moment. He pitches 2 1/3 innings out of the bullpen against Cleveland, 88-mile-an-hour fastball, one strikeout, tips his cap, walks into the night. No fanfare, no press conference, just the quiet bow of a man who gave everything. Chapter 6, Hall of Fame odds. Now we ask in this alternate history, does Tarik Skubal belong in Cooperstown? Let's look at the numbers. 156 wins, 3.71 career ERA. Though in my opinion, his final one will come in much lower than that. 23-28 strikeouts. One Cy Young is already matched in real life. It wouldn't shock me if he exceeds that by the end of this year. 41.5 career WAR. Again, wouldn't shock me if he exceeds that in real life too. 17 seasons, 6 franchises, granted most of them in the journeyman era. 2031 postseason heroics. By traditional metrics, he's on the outside looking in. Most Hall of Fame pitchers have 60 plus WAR, unless you're Jack Morrison compiled a bunch of wins over the 80s. More wins, multiple All-Star nods. But Skubal's case in this reality is narrative driven. He was a throwback, a reinvention artist, the last of the grinders. He beat Espinosa's algorithms, outlasted Rowentree's smear campaign, and mentored a generation of pitchers who wouldn't exist without him. Now for the outro. No, Tarik Skubal may not be a first ballot Hall of Famer in this timeline, but give it time. Veterans committees tend to reward warriors, the ones with scars, stories, and innings. And also, for some reason, Harold Baines. If Skubal makes it in, it won't be because of stats. It'll be because he stayed in the fight. Because when the game changed, he didn't whine. He adjusted, he endured, and in the end, he belonged. And there we conclude the tale of Tarik Skubal's alternate career. If you enjoyed this alternate history video, have more coming. Like, subscribe, and comment your subscribe, and comment your favorite player below, and maybe tomorrow we'll do an alternate history on them. And looking forward to doing more of these.